Hare Krishna. Welcome to Transcendental Thursday. Today we're going to discover about Merciless Kali-yuga. Why is it merciless? Wars, climate change, abortions, violence, child abuse, women being abused, raped, deserted, divorced, suffering, pain, cheating, backstabbing, financial frauds, paper leaks, justice delayed for decades, infatuation, attraction, pain, agony, grief, road accidents, paper leaks, cow, military disruptions, ugly relational bittership, floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, pandemic, viruses, bacteria, property fights, cheating in examination, nepotism, hacking, fraudulent transactions, depression, OCDs, blackmailing, fallacies, frustrations, food poisoning, pollution, whatnot, climate change, sleeplessness, insomnia, anger, greed, crime, violence, whatnot. Hence, it's Kali-yuga. Welcome to Kali-yuga. Merciless Kali-yuga. Only hope Srila Prabhupada's blessings and guidance. Let us seek that to understand the mercy of Kali-yuga, in spite being merciless. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kali-yuga is full of these things which I said and more than that. It's never going to end until 4,32,000 years gets over unless Kalki Bhagavan appears and finishes us off and starts off next Satyuga. But having said that, there is a hope, there is a ray of positivity because Hare Krishna movement is still there. Hare Krishna mantra is still there. But that is the nature of Kali-yuga. It is made like that. All those people who are desiring to gratify their senses, abuse each other, lord over, every Atma who has these desires, he is put in one place and asked to exploit themselves. That is Kali-yuga. And that is the nature of Kali-yuga. It is made like that. Kali plus his chelas called Kali chelas plus Maya Devi plus three modes of material nature and in the material world forgetfulness of Krishna is a highly deadly combination which has taken over the whole world by storm, and people are mercilessly, brutally assaulted, killed, massacred, and they don't know they are going through this. That is another irony. Unless and until you come in touch with a bona fide spiritual master like Prabhupada or his teachings, then you'll never going to understand. When you tell people that they are suffering, they don't understand that they are suffering. They don't accept that they are suffering. Hence, Prabhupada used to tell you, it's your responsibility to preach that they are suffering. Because they don't know that they are suffering. That is a real difficulty. They don't know that they are suffering. They think that this suffering is the natural way of living. They consider that to be, okay, suffering is there, let us be with it. We'll overcome suffering by economical development. The best of the countries with high GDP, that is United States, US, or the Western countries, with apparently the quality of life is relatively high, there's still riots happening there, still there's pandemic there, still there are hurricanes there are divorces, there are violent abusers, there are psychiatric issues of depression. We think that we in our country, in developing country like India, because we are not so much developed, there's no much finances, there's no economic development, hence people are suffering. No, poverty exists even in the developed country. People from the richest class, affluent class, still they lie up in the streets in the United States. Recently, a couple of months ago, there was a viral video where on the streets, on the footpath, the homeless in the United States used to stay. And the abuse of drugs is so high that everyone is involved in this. And they go through painful experiences, but still the maya of intoxication, forgetfulness of the Lord, make them forget what they are going through. And they go through a lot of pain and agony, and which they can't realize this. And hence, that's why Srila Prabhupada tells that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, quoting the verses, Kaler doshanide rajan. Kali-yuga is ocean of faults. In fact, Parishit Maharaj, when he was hearing about the arrival of Kali-yuga and the drawbacks of Kali-yuga, the atrocities people will go through in Kali-yuga, he was pained. He was concerned about the people of Kali-yuga. Hence, when he asked what is the hope for them, Shukadeva Goswami says this, Kaler doshanide rajan, astihi ekor mahaguna. This one great quality of Kali-yuga. What is that? Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Mukta sangha param vrajet. That's why in the 12th canto, before that, Shukadeva Goswami narrates the different symptoms of Kali-yuga. He mentioned, Shukadeva Goswami said, as time passes, religion, truthfulness, mercy, duration of life, all these good qualities will diminish day by day as you advance in Kali-yuga. It is also mentioned, wealth alone will be the sign of advancement, good birth or proper qualities. And law and justice will be served only for those who have access to money or rich, or if they are filthy, rich or wealthy. It's happening. It is also mentioned, men and women will stay together as long as there is an attraction between each other. When the attraction drops off, they'll divorce, they'll separate themselves. There will be a breakup, there will be a brutal divorce cases in the court. And womanliness and manliness will be based on one's expertise in sex. And men will be known as Brahmana, just bearing a sacred thread. They do not have any qualities which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Patana, Patana, Yachana, Yajana, Titikshva, Arjava. All those 9 qualities which is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita as well as in other parts of Vedic literatures. None of the quality will be found in the people who profess themselves have Brahmana in Kali-yuga. But still, they'll, just because they are wearing the sacred thread, it can be considered as Brahmana. That is a symptom of Kali-yuga. A person's spiritual position is assigned merely according to the external symbols, their pomp and exposition of their wealth and how charitable they are, how they show off their religiousness, not actually according to their character or in the belief system what they have, or the character they inbuilt in, or the show off, merely show off. A person's propriety will be seriously questioned if one does not earn good livelihood. And one who is very clever in juggling words, expert word juggler, will be considered a learned scholar. Nobody will understand what he's speaking, but because he's speaking something which nobody will understand, he's considered to be a scholar or a gentleman. And person will be considered judge unholy if does not have money. अगर उसके पास पैसे नहीं है, then done. And hypocrisy will be accepted as a virtue, a quality which is important. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement. I agree to stay with you. That's why they have these days, apart from court arranged marriage, prenuptial agreements, wherein they very clearly tell in case of divorce, this part belongs to me, this part belongs to you, and you cannot ask this property from me, you cannot ask this property from me. Basically, it's an agreement. Of course, in other religions, it's still there, it's since there since ages, but in Kali-yuga, everything will be based on agreement. A person will think if he is fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath, because taking bath also will be a big deal. People don't even take bath in Kali-yuga. That's already happening. A sacred place will be taken over by few unscrupulous people, and it will be merely no more than a reservoir of water located at a far distance, and beauty of thought. Beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Lavanya Keshadaranam. A person or men will be thinking they are beautiful if they have long hairs. And elsewhere it is mentioned, one who is audacious will be accepted as truthful. One who is audacious means he is forceful. Jiska lati uska bais. If he has a lati, he is truthful. Audacious. In crude words. One who can maintain a family of wife and children is called be expert. Dampatyam kudumbabaranam. Dakshinyam kudumbabaranam. Dakshinya means expertness. If somebody can maintain a family, and the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. People will follow religious principles not to advance in Krishna consciousness, but just for the sake of reputation. As earth thus becomes overcrowded with corrupt and populous population, among any of the social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain the political power. That means a 10th class man will occupy the royal post by hook or crook, and he'll exploit the citizens. Here further it is mentioned, I'll just read it for you. Losing their lives and properties to such avaricious and merciless rulers who will behave no better than ordinary thieves, the citizen will flee to the mountains and forest. Harassed by famine, there will be no rains. Or if it rains, it will pour like this heavily. People will resort to eating leaves, roots, flesh, wild honey, fruits, flowers and seeds. Stuck up by drought, they will become completely ruined. I heard just now before coming for the session, if I trust my memory, it is Sudan or some other African country where they have decided to slaughter elephants, giraffes and wild animals because there's no food to eat. They're all endangered species, endangered animals. But since there is no food, they are ready to kill all these animals because people are not getting food to even survive. And because of the taxes, people will be so harassed. But the governments all across the globe, they'll flee to the different parts of the world. Citizens will suffer heavily, greatly from cold. There'll be severe cold during the last winter. Entire west was frozen. Wind, heat, rain, snow. They will be further tormented by quarrel. Quarrel in the family, among themselves, quarrel in the neighborhood, quarrel in the community, quarrel in the state, amongst the states, quarrel with the countries, wars. They'll be thirsty. They'll not have water to drink properly. The water what we drink will be all full of microplastics. This microplastic has entered even our bloodstreams, even our brain. And whatever we drink and eat are all polluted. Merciless Kali-yuga. Tormented by quarrels, thus diseases, day after day, you'll find newer and newer disease. If there's no diseases, still they'll cook up a disease and tell us this is a disease and you have to take vaccination, you have to take this medication, you'll have to cover up yourself, and you have to maintain distance, all just to hook or crook, earn money, regulate, manipulate, control, lord over. Symptom of Kali-yuga. Thirst, disease, and severe anxiety. Because of this, I was again the news was saying that all the parents are full of anxiety in the West. Of course, in India also to a certain extent, more than the kid, the parents are in anxiety. The kids, newborn kids, are in anxiety. They're supposed to play around, jump around. At 2 years, you're putting them into a play school or garden. He's worried to make that what they've been taught, teaching in the play schools, and the anxiety starts. And they don't know how to control their senses, and they have access to all these things on their fingertips at such a young age. Tablets, phones. The children are becoming too rash, too violent. They don't listen to their parents. They kill their parents when you get their phone from their hands or get the remote from their hands. You don't allow them to play PUBG. They finish your parents. And parents also know better than them. They're also interested in gratification, and any stoppage of gratification, they kill the kids. Women, mother, Kali-yuga, Maka, Mamta, gone for toss, abortions, high end. My body, my rules. I'll kill whoever it is. If my body, my rules. I'll decide what I had to beget or not to beget. The child, the soul has taken shelter in the womb of the mother, and the mother is killing the child in the womb of the mother itself. And by chance, it takes birth. Later also they kill. And there's so many cases, both men and women, so corrupt. I don't want to tell those things, but still, horrible it is. So you say Kolkata, Bangalore, Bombay, Maharashtra, Jodhpur, Jaipur, all those things where women are mercilessly raped, abused. Children are not spared. Young infants are not spared. Boys are not spared. Animals are not spared. Dogs are not spared. Where are we heading? That's a symptom of Kali-yuga. The maximum duration of life for human beings in Kali-yuga will become 50 years. It will come to a stage, it will be less than 20 or 30 years. Somebody 30 years would be called as a grand old man. Already you see progeria is on rise. It may be a few numbers, but that's a ratio. That's the nature of Kali-yuga. Merciless Kali-yuga. Merciless. By the time the age of Kali ends, the bodies of all creatures will be greatly reduced in size, and the religious principles of followers of Varnashrama will be ruined. Of course, there will be no followers at all. The path of the Vedas will be completely forgotten in human society, and so-called religion will be mostly atheistic. Religion will be atheistic. Religion will be atheistic. And you see all those religion will be atheistic. Which is the religion which promotes atheism? And you understand what I'm trying to say. The path of Vedas will be completely forgotten in the human society. The kings will mostly be thieves. The occupation of the men will be stealing, lying, needless violence, and all the social classes will be reduced to the lowest of the Shudras. Cows will be like goats. Cows ka shape jo hai na, cow will be like goats. Samajh mein aa raha hai? And family ties will extend no further than immediate bonds of marriage. Earlier, 10, 20, 30 people in a family, big, huge family. Then they said only a husband, wife, in-laws will be there. Then in-laws ko hatao, only husband, wife and children. Then now only one child. No child I don't want. I just want you and me. That's all. They don't want even to beget a child, maintain a child. It's a big burden these days for people of Kali-yuga. They don't want to. There's a movement going on like that. Childless couples, not that they can't beget children. They don't want children. They'll keep a pet. Most plants and herbs will be tiny. All trees will appear like a dwarf shami tree. Clouds will be full of lightning. Homes will be devoid of piety, and all human beings will become like ashes. Ashes means all human beings will become like ashes. Merciless Kali-yuga means for the morsel of grain, for the piece of bread, they'll work like ashes. Ashes, they work for the morsel of grass, bit of grass, morning till evening. It will carry the loads of clothes from this end to that end. Similarly, exactly in the same way, human beings in Kali-yuga will be working for peanuts. Cognizant offer 2.52 lakh per annum for graduates. Of course, they clarified they offer 3.5 for BTech graduates. When I was in engineering, I got placed in 2007-8. My package in Accenture was 3 lakh. Now, after 15 years, 16 years, it's almost the same. And on an average, talking about India, majority of their package would be less than 20,000 rupees per month. Just see the difficulties and the pain people have to go through just for their survival. Now, thanks to the AI revolution, thanks to other revolution, it's mass layoffs. Average package of the premier institutes in India sliced down. Anyways, at that time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear on the earth, acting with the power of pure spiritual goodness, will rescue the eternal religion. Is it at the fag end of Kali-yuga? About time, but still, already the symptoms have already witnessed. Now, one of the symptom which you are seeing grossly recently of late in the news is abuse of children, women, which is very painful, which is very grief-stricken. Where are we heading as a society? When I was going through all those news, everyone was talking who is at fault. They are pointing out at the government, the chief minister, the police, the security, the culture, so many things, the patriarchy. But if you analyze even that Kolkata case, the person who was a culprit, alleged culprit, what was he doing? What did he do before he actually committed a crime? He visited a red light area. He molested a woman before that. And he was deeply involved in pornography, addicted to it. Except few lawyers of Supreme Court who were women, nobody raised this question. Why can't we stop accessing this content online? Anyone can access it. Now they say nothing wrong in it anyway. It's for self-pleasuring. It all starts like that, but from mere self-pleasuring to becoming an animal of that level doesn't take much time. Every minute a woman or a child is abused in India. Many of them. These are reported numbers. If you see the statistics, it's horrific. People don't realize what is the crux. What is the reason? We don't. Because when senses come in touch with sense objects, yuhi samsparshacha bhoga dukkha yona evate. At some point there will be some pleasure. Initially it will be instant pleasure, but later on it becomes the most painful thing. Material pleasures are like that. Initially it will be wow, kicks, but later it's painful, whether legal or illegal. And it's dukkha yona evate, the source of miseries. And Krishna says this lust, anger, greed are the doors to hell. And the whole environment in Kali-yuga is meant to only enhance these things. Any kid can easily access all these things. Media, the TVs, the OTT, they're all encouraging this. So when a gullible soul contemplates on this, visualizes all these things, what will he do? Krishna says, it is a very important point which you should all recollect and remember. Dhyayate vishyan pumsa sangaste sopajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate. Krishna is telling the logical flow of events, how a person behaves the way he behaves. Dhyayate vishyan pumsa, while contemplating on the objects of senses. Objects of senses. Contemplating, visualizing. Easily available. All those, what I said, OTT, porn, movies, vulgar acts, abuses. It is a norm. Stand-up comedians with all vulgar things. When you contemplate on those things, when you contemplate on those sense objects, what happens? You develop attachment for them. You want it, come what may. When because of attachment, lust arises. And lust is something which can never be satiated. No matter how many times you do it, it can never be satiated. It's just like pouring fuel into the fire. It will only increase the intensity of the fire. It cannot be doused. No matter how hard you try to satisfy your greed, anger, and lust, it can never be satisfied. And Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangas Te Supajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bijayate. You get angry when your desires or lust is not satisfied. And Krishna further says, Krodad Bhavati Sammoha. Because of Krodha, you become illusioned. You don't know what to do, what not to do. In this moment, you perform such abominable, horrible, hellish activities. You're not at all in your control. Krodad Bhavati Sammoha. Because of Sammoha, illusion, Sammoha Smriti Vibramaha. Because of illusion, your Smriti, memory is lost. You don't know who it is, what it is. Child, infant, baby, old man, old woman, cow. It doesn't matter. You have lost your memory. Krodhat bhavati sammoha smahmoha smriti vibrama smriti vibrad buddhi nashaha. Your intelligence is lost. The intelligence, which is a special prerogative of human beings, advanced developed intelligence by which he can follow dharma, is completely gone for dogs, and he behaves and acts like dogs. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. When your buddhi is lost, intelligence is lost. When his intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. This is what happening to all of us who are contemplating on the sense objects. Once you contemplate, the first step begins. The second step is gradual, automatic. By default, it happens. And today in the society, the contemplation on the opposite gender increased to a certain level. That's why they need to be brought up together only when there's a requirement. And there has to be training. There has to be higher taste. And that training and higher taste is given by Krishna consciousness. When people at large chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the contamination in the heart will get cleansed. The tendency to perform sin will go off by getting a higher taste. Now, this is the highest pleasure what I can seek for. This is how I am being brainwashed since childhood, that sansparshaja is the highest pleasure. And for that, hook or crook, you work out to get that pleasure. But scripture says we are not the body, we are spirit soul. There's a spiritual pleasure which has no end to it. Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam. Unlimited, uninterrupted, everlasting happiness. Human beings are entitled for that happiness. But identifying themselves with the body, identifying themselves as the senses and gratification of the senses is the primary purpose and goal of life. They wander, work hard like animals, and for insignificant, minuscule, infinitesimal pleasure, they lose their lives. It's not worth. On the contrary, the spiritual pleasure is unlimited. The pleasure which we want is the ocean of water in the desert. But what we get for a few seconds, a few moments is just a drop, like a drop of water in the desert. I want ocean of water. And spiritual life and spiritual practices will give you that kind of happiness for both men and women and children and everyone. And if everyone works on that level of getting spiritual pleasure by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra congregationally, tasting prasadam, when they get the higher taste, automatically they give up the lower taste. It's difficult at the initial stages, but gradually over a period of time, when you do that and stay away from the conscious gratification by following the rules, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, these 4 things you do avoid, and just chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And that 2 things are possible when we associate with devotees. When we read Bhagavad Gita, you associate with Krishna, you associate with the purpose of Bhakti Vedanta. And when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the mantra is so powerful that even a criminal of the worst category of the animal, if he chants, that will cleanse his heart, that will reform him. And if the mass of the people gets this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the tendency to perform sin only will go off. Prabhupada in Science of Self-Realization, Crime, Why and What to Do, he tells this. We can reduce the crime all across the globe, provided if the government gives us a facility where thousands and lakhs of people can assemble together independently or isolatedly, and they are given this mantra to chant, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And if Sankirtana happens, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These unwanted things which is plaguing the whole world, each and every individual is affected by this cataract, this gandagi, this filth, this contamination, this stool of sense gratification can be thrown out of their consciousness, and they'll really start enjoying the bliss of happiness, real happiness. And that is what Krishna consciousness can provide. People are talking about so many, but nobody is talking about solutions. This is the solution. Unless and until I get the higher taste, I'll not give up the lower taste. And naturally that has to be done. Then even in the night, women can travel and they'll be safe. Even then the kids can travel and they still be safe. Because the purpose and goal is to satisfy Krishna. As long this is not the purpose and goal, purpose is gratification, earning money, and scratching our senses, then no matter whatever rules you make it, whatever stringent arrangements you make it, some way or the other it will not survive. Rules and regulation has to be there, 100%. But apart from that, the self-regulation comes when they get the higher taste. When the goal is very set up clearly, then they'll not go the lower ones. If somebody is given a big Rajasthani thali or a Gujarati thali, why will you go for a simple khichdi or a sukha roti? Never. Naturally, kids, if they are given a higher thing to play, they'll not play with small toys. Youngsters, if they are interested in other sports, if they asked to play gargar, will they go? No. It's once upon a time as a kid they were doing it. But once you get the higher taste, you give the lower taste. Param drishtva nivartate. Rasavarjam rasopyasya. The taste for the sense gratification still lingers, but by experiencing a higher taste, and that higher taste, by after getting, you'll give up the lower taste, is in Krishna consciousness, is in chanting of Hare Krishna Mantra, is in spiritual life. Hence, Prabhupada has opened this oasis in the deserts of this material world where one can get this pleasure unlimitedly connected. And all you need to do is just spend few minutes in chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You can begin with 15 minutes by chanting 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, gradually increase the dose to 16 rounds every day and avoid these 4 sins. And then the merciless Kali-yuga will become the most merciful Kali-yuga. Kalir dosh nidhe rajan asti ekon mahan guna. The great quality of Kali-yuga is Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajat. The great quality of Kali-yuga is one can get the highest perfection. Mukta sangha. Will be away from all the sangha. Sangha means all this which I talked about, no? In the beginning of the session. Unwanted things. You will be freed from all the sanghas. And param vrajat. You will reach the highest abode by being happy in Krishna consciousness. So we need lakhs of volunteers to practice this Krishna consciousness personally, and we want these soldiers who are going to save the mankind by going out vigorously and preach this message, especially youngsters who are going through this difficulty. This is the one which you can take. Please take up Krishna consciousness seriously. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then you see, and then with your intelligence and brightness and ability, spread this vigorously. That's a duty of everyone, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Amara agna guru hoye yare deko tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Janma sarthak kari karo paropakar. Indians are meant for paropakar, but we are not able to help ourselves and grow ourselves in spiritually. That's the fallacy of this situation today. So take it up seriously. Prabhupada is there for us. His books are there. His institution is there. His disciples are there. Contact them, associate with them, follow the instruction which Prabhupada has given, and you will make a huge difference in your life, in your family life, and the whole world can be turned into actual bliss of Krishna consciousness, Vaikuntha. Even just by 1% of the world population takes it to Krishna consciousness, that can change the face of the whole world. The vibration created by 1% of the population will be so empowering, so surcharging, that it will have a very positive effect on the minds and the consciousness of the people at large. So with this, I stop here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.